We have a crisis here in the United States, and a lot of people don't realize how bad this is going to get. This crisis starts with retirees, people on Social Security, people that are collecting Social Security payments, people that are on pensions and living off of their retirement savings. This is a massive crisis that we're currently facing. Just the other day, I was talking to a friend of mine. His grandparents are struggling. They have to go back to work because they cannot afford to live because of all the increased prices that we're seeing. Now, I want to address this in today's video because this is something that most people don't realize is happening, but it's slowly going on and it's starting to hurt millions and millions of people. So I'm gonna break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So, what is going on? Well, here's the big issue. People that are on Social Security, that are on a fixed income, are retired. These are people that their income is set. Let's say they get $4,000 or $5,000 a month. Some of whom don't even get that. Get $1,000, $2,000 a month, and they have to live off that and live for years. This is turning into a massive issue because things like rent is increasing. And maybe you don't rent, maybe you own your own home. Guess what? There's still maintenance. We still have things like property taxes, right? Property taxes are going up because of the valuations of homes. Property taxes are increasing. This is turning into a big issue. Now, think about this. If your Social Security check or your pension or your retirement savings is capped at a certain number, if you now need to make more money in order to afford your current lifestyle, let's say you have a car, you own your home, or maybe you rent, which means now you got to pay your landlord whatever they're asking for rent. Guess what? It may eat into your savings. And eventually your savings is going to dwindle and completely go away. Once this happens, what do? Well, you go back to work. This is exactly what many of my friends have been telling me, is that their grandparents are going back to work. Their parents, 60, 70 years old, going back to work. They haven't worked in decades, but they're now forced to go back to work. A friend of mine reached out and said his parents had to sell their home, their family home, which was like a farm, but they had to sell it. Something that's been in their family for generations. They had to sell because they had no other choice. They had no choice. They had to pay off medical debt. Social Security payments just weren't enough. They didn't save enough when they were planning for retirement. Everybody said, back, 10 years ago, if you had $1 million, you're set. $1 million, you can live forever. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. The number is more than double that. Okay? And that's not even living forever. That would be living somewhat comfortably for 10 to 15 years. Because keep in mind, most people retire at the age of 65. Okay, 65 to 67. Let's say you retire at age 65. The average life expectancy was at 80 years old or 79 years old. So you work for, 45 years. Let's say from the time you're 20 to 65, work 45 years and you get 14 to 15 years of retirement. $1 million is not going to last that long. Now, why do I bring all this up, and why is this turning into a massive retirement crisis? Well, it's simple. Prices continue to increase. Food is more expensive. Gas is more expensive. Utilities more expensive. Homes more expensive. Insurance is more expensive. And if you can pay for all these things, great. But what kind of life does that give you? Well, this is why it's turning into an issue. Because people are being forced back into the workforce. They don't want to work. They can't work. I remember talking to a group of people a few months back, and almost every single one of them said they were forced to go back to work. When I say group of people, these were all people that were over more than past retirement age, but they were forced to go back to work. And I asked them why. Why did they choose this line of work? Well, they were simply in a retail store. I don't remember what the store was, but they were in a retail store. They were hanging up clothes and organizing shelves and things like that, working at a very brisk pace. Okay, and I asked them, why did they choose that? And they said, well, it's close to their, they lived in an assisted living facility. So you live in an assisted living facility. However, you have to go to work to pay for that facility, to pay for your medication, to pay for whatever it is you may need, just to live. And this is turning into a massive crisis, because some people, and I remember when my grandmother was still alive. She passed away years ago, and I remember when she was still alive, and people kept on saying, like, she just wants to go. You know, it's past her time. She's ready. She doesn't want to put the burden on other people. That's how some people feel, unfortunately, is they don't want to feel like a burden. Like, you are there taking care of them, but yet you got your own stuff going on. This is, again, why assisted living facilities are there to help you, so that family members aren't the ones that are feeling the burden, like they have to do everything. But here's what I think is interesting. What are lawmakers doing to fix this? We've heard different reports, different proposals for bills that have come up over the past several years, some of which would force people to put money into retirement. But as they decide to do this, as Congress decides to pass bills to almost force people, whether it's the workers or the employer, force them to invest into a retirement plan, why would they do this? Is it because they're really concerned about the people retiring and having money to live? Or do they feel that Social Security won't be around forever, and so they're trying to find a way to kind of limit the hurt and the impact, because then at least you would have some money that is set aside for retirement. Might only be $10,000-$20,000, maybe $250,000. Probably not gonna be millions. But if you have a little bit of money that you can count on, then the burden of Social Security, ensuring that it's still available to you, well, it's not such a big issue. But again, I bring this up because right now nobody's talking about Social Security. Is former President Donald Trump talking about how he's going to fix Social Security? No. Is Vice President Kamala Harris talking about how she's going to fix Social Security and ensure that it remains solvent for the next 50 to 90 years? No. Governor Gavin Newsom, is President Biden. He's promised the American people he's going to give you $200 per month for 4 years. Guess what? Or $200 per month for 2 years. For $4,800 for 24 months. He wasn't able to do it. It never got done. As of right now, I don't think anything's going to pass through Congress, because nobody wants to work together, and President Biden has, unfortunately, pretty much checked out. So we'll see what happens moving forward. The only thing I can tell you right now is, if you are looking at retiring here in the near future, just be aware it may be very difficult. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know if you are planning to retire soon, if you are already retired and you had to go back to work. Let me know your story down in the comment section below. I'd love to read it. I'd love to hear people that are have a success story, but also people that have more of a difficult time, an uphill battle, because those people are the ones that we really learn from. Those people are the ones that can tell us, hey, I did this, didn't work, and here's why I'm struggling now. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.